Imagine a world without electricity, smartphones, or even printed books. Picture stone castles, knights in armor, and vast, mysterious forests. This was the medieval world, the Middle Ages, spanning 1,000 years, from 500 to 1500. It wasn't just a time of fairy tales, but a real complex era that shaped our world. The Middle Ages sits between two great eras, the Roman Empire and the Renaissance. For centuries, people called it a dark age, but that's a myth. The medieval period was dynamic, inventive, and crucial to the birth of modern Europe. Historians break it into three parts: the early, high, and late Middle Ages. The early Middle Ages saw new kingdoms rise from Rome's ashes. The high Middle Ages brought growth and the construction of cathedrals and castles. The late Middle Ages faced crisis and change, plague, war, and transformation. So let's step back in time and meet the people who lived in this fascinating world. We'll uncover their beliefs, struggles, and achievements. Forget the myths. The real story of the Middle Ages is more dramatic than legend. It's a story about us and how we got here. Our story begins with the fall of the Roman Empire. Rome once ruled vast lands, but by the 5th century it was crumbling under pressure from invading groups. In 476, the last Roman emperor in the West was overthrown, ending centuries of unity. Europe didn't collapse overnight. Instead, it slowly transformed. Roman cities shrank, roads decayed, and trade networks broke down. In place of one empire, Europe splintered into many small kingdoms: Franks, Visigoths, Angles, and Saxons. Loyalty shifted from distant emperors to local lords and kings. Without Roman protection, people needed new ways to stay safe. This led to feudalism, a pyramid of promises based on land and loyalty. Kings granted land to nobles, who divided it among knights. At the bottom were peasants tied to the land, working for protection. This system brought order and stability to a dangerous world. Feudalism became the backbone of medieval society. Where you were born in the feudal pyramid shaped your entire life. At the top was the king, powerful but always balancing politics and war. Below him, nobles and knights formed the warrior class, trained from youth for battle. Knights followed a code of chivalry, bravery, loyalty, and protecting the weak, though reality often fell short. Most people, over 90%, were peasants. Peasant families lived in simple huts, surviving on bread, porridge, and vegetables. Their lives revolved around the seasons: plowing, tending, harvesting, and enduring winter. A bad harvest could mean starvation, yet village life had moments of community: festivals, feasts, and church holidays. The village was their world. Most never traveled far from home. Despite hardship, strong bonds of community and tradition held medieval society together. Life was tough, but people found meaning in shared work and celebration. The feudal world was small, but it was rich in human connection. This was the everyday reality for most in the Middle Ages. The Catholic Church was the most powerful institution in medieval Europe. The Pope's authority rivaled kings, and the Church was present in every community. Monasteries preserved ancient knowledge, and churches were centers of worship and social life. The Church ran hospitals, provided charity, and built magnificent cathedrals. Religion shaped every aspect of daily life. But the early Middle Ages also faced the fury of the Vikings. Viking longships raided coasts and rivers, targeting wealthy monasteries. For decades, their attacks terrified Europe. Yet Vikings were also traders, settlers, and explorers, reaching as far as North America. Over time, they integrated, converted to Christianity, and helped shape European culture. The Church and the Vikings both left lasting marks on medieval society. Their stories are woven into the fabric of the Middle Ages. Together, they shaped the world that followed. Around the year 1000, Europe's towns and cities began to grow again. Farming innovations like the heavy plough and horse collar led to bigger harvests and food surpluses. Not everyone had to farm. Some moved to towns, becoming artisans and merchants. Trade revived, with merchants traveling and great fairs connecting regions. Guilds formed to protect trades and set standards. Urban life sparked an intellectual awakening. The first universities appeared in Bologna, Paris, and Oxford. Guilds of scholars teaching in Latin. Demand for educated people grew, fueling new ideas. Europe reconnected with the wider world, especially through contact with the Islamic world. Arabic texts and scientific advances flowed into Europe, inspiring curiosity and learning. The High Middle Ages were a time of growth, trade, and discovery. Cities became centers of culture and innovation. Medieval Europe was more connected and dynamic than ever before. In the mid-1300s, Europe was struck by the Black Death, a plague that killed a third of the population in just 5 years. The disease spread rapidly, carried by fleas on rats along trade routes. No one understood its cause, and doctors were powerless. The impact was catastrophic. Entire towns were devastated. With so many dead, the feudal system began to unravel. Surviving peasants could demand higher wages and better conditions. Lords tried to resist, but uprisings like England's Peasants' Revolt erupted. The plague changed society's structure and psychology. Some turned to intense faith, others to pleasure, and art became darker and more macabre. The Black Death was a tragedy, but it also sparked profound change. It weakened old systems and opened the door to new ideas. Medieval society would never be the same. The world that emerged was more flexible, dynamic, and ready for transformation. The Black Death was both an ending and a beginning. It set the stage for the modern era. Daily life in the Middle Ages was full of surprises. Nights were dark and quiet. People relied on candles and stopped work at sunset. Bread was the staple food, with quality depending on wealth. Peasants ate pottage, a thick stew, and drank weak beer instead of unsafe water. Despite hardship, people found joy in games, music, and storytelling. Chess and board games were popular, and village football could involve everyone. Minstrels and storytellers brought news and entertainment to towns and villages. Cleanliness mattered, public bathhouses existed, and people used herbal soaps and toothpaste. Some medieval remedies, like willow bark for pain, actually worked. Surgeons could set bones and even perform eye surgery. Life was hard, but medieval people were resourceful and resilient. Their world was different, but their hopes and joys were much like ours. The Middle Ages were more modern than we often imagine. The Middle Ages didn't end overnight. They transformed into the modern world. Cities grew, merchants rose, and new ideas flourished, leading to the Renaissance and beyond. The medieval legacy is everywhere, in our laws, languages, and city layouts. Gothic cathedrals and stone buildings still shape our skylines. Medieval street plans survive in many European cities. The idea of nations, France, England, Spain, took root in this era. Legal systems, jury trials, and universities all have medieval origins. The printing press built on the tradition of manuscript copying. The Middle Ages show how societies adapt and rebuild after crisis. From collapse and plague, people created new ways to live and learn. The story of the Middle Ages is a bridge between ancient and modern times. It's a testament to human resilience and creativity. In many ways, it's the story of us.